everybody. I hope you like the entrance. It's news to me. Heather did that today, or was doing that today when I got home from my trip, which was a one-day trip. Today, we have Ronnie and Bob. Trek will be here in a little bit. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing good.
Good. And speak of the fucking
There's
devil.
Trek.
There's Trek.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
Oh, good God.
How is it going? Wendy's here. She's abruptly waiting. She now knows I'm live, so now she's got to be on camera.
He wants to join.
So, I didn't even watch Raw Monday. I know who got picked where, and I'm going to read off all of that. What? Hold on.
Top draw there.
Draw?
The notebook around the top.
Mm-hmm.
It's got the completed list with all the ones that were not mentioned on the shows, but mentioned.
I know Bob wanted to do it, but this is my show. You were talking about wrestling this week in wrestling, right, Bob? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna read these off here. So Raw, and these are the people that got put on Raw. All of these fucking people
Yes.
were put on Raw after draft.
Just up until Seth Rollins.
Okay, well, I'm just going to read them all off. So everybody on Raw is No Way Jose, Mojo Rawley, Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, the Iconics, Sarah Logan, Seth Rollins, Charlotte Flair, Andrade and Zelina Vega, the Kabuki Warriors, Rusev, Aleister Black, Cedric Alexander, Humberto Carrillo, Eric Rowan, Buddy Murphy, Jinder Mahal, R-Truth, Samoa Joe, Akira Tozawa, Shelton Benjamin, Rey Mysterio, Titus O'Neil, Liv Morgan, Becky Lynch, The OC, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Ricochet, Bobby Lashley, Kevin Owens, Natalya, the Viking Raiders, and the Street Profits. Those are all the people on Raw.
Turn the page again.
All the people that are on SmackDown after the draft. Luke Harper, Cesaro, Drake Maverick, Fire and Desire, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, Dana Brooke, Alexa Bliss, and Nikki Cross. We'll get into it. Brock Lesnar, The New Day, Daniel Bryan, Bayley, Shinsuke Nakamura, Ali, Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode, Carmella, The Miz, King Corbin, Shorty Gable, Elias, Roman Reigns, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. So Bray Wyatt is on SmackDown as well as The Fiend. They aren't doing separate. Sasha Banks, Braun Strowman, Lacey Evans, The Revival, Lucha House Party, and Heavy Machinery.
And so that everybody knows, that Shorty Gable thing is how they listed it on WWE.com, where I got all the names from.
Well, if you remember his promo, he did say, I don't care what you call me. I'm still going to kick your ass. Call me whatever you want. That's essentially what they said about it. I'm going to tell you what I think about it. And I'll talk about it on the Horny Goat again. I tell you right now, I am not. This wasn't a fucking draft.
This is a shakeup.
It was a shakeup that makes no sense.
Well, the last one didn't either. There was no announcement of who was going where. They just showed up.
This thing that they did would have been better served doing it the way I fucking said it, is put everybody in a fucking bingo basket, fucking mix it up, have somebody come and pull a fucking name out. There's that person. That person goes to this place.
And that would have made the War Room celebrations make sense.
That in itself, that's when the matches come into play. You have these matches, that person goes to that fucking brand. You include the wrestling into the lottery, I call it. I don't even call it a draft. Look, a draft is not for people. It's like a fantasy draft is what it is, okay? It's not a literal draft. A draft would be the kind of draft that they did is taking all of the players in WWE, like they would. This is essentially what it is. They took all the players in the NFL. Imagine this: they took all the players in the NFL and put them in a pool, and whoever won the Super Bowl, they have their rankings. You know, whoever gets the first pick. Then you have players, how many ever players they have. This is essentially what they did. Aaron Rodgers now plays for the Miami Dolphins.
So it's like doing the fantasy draft in Madden, basically.
Kind of. Yes. I don't like that, the way that they did it. That wasn't a draft. It made no sense. A draft is essentially new player draft. That's what everybody essentially thinks of a draft. They have a misconstrued idea of what a draft is, I think.
That they do.
Well, and then they announce people going to SmackDown, and they show up on Raw to wrestle.
Like,
Well, it
So-
was basically they were sitting there and saying it's their farewell match for Raw, and then they're going to be shipped off to SmackDown.
Well, from my understanding, the only one I know, at least through November, is booked is Bray. And it's Bray and Seth in 2 matches before, I think it's November 4th. So in October, at the end, with the crown jewel, you're going to get Bray and Rollins, and then you're going to get them again on the 4th of November.
I honestly don't mind the cross promotion feuds.
And it makes sense with him being champion, but if Bray was champion, it would make more sense.
If Bray was champion, it'd make more sense.
Why he would be going to defend against Rollins, opposed to him going over to have a rematch with Rollins, because he's already had his match.
Yeah, but he didn't lose. That's the thing.
Right, and I know that's why we're getting a crown jewel, but then they've also booked the match for November 4th, so you know it's going to continue after crown jewel.
It's probably going to go until Survivor Series.
Probably.
Well, they're probably a half champion versus champion. Which we might get Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins, right.
Bray Wyatt's not winning the championship. People just need to get that out of their head, like right now. It's not going to happen because it makes no sense to put the title on it. It never did make sense. Because essentially, and again, we say it, where do they go with Bray Wyatt after he wins the title? He had 1 match and 6 months worth of promos, and then just all of a sudden he's like, I'm just going to go after Seth Rollins because why? I don't understand the philosophy behind that move. That made no sense, and I know why they did it. It's obvious why they did it. But the storyline, per storyline, it makes no sense. They did it because it's Halloween, it's October, Hell in a Cell. Oh shit, we got this Bray Wyatt character. He's supposed to be this big scary guy. Let's promote that for a month and see how long it lasts. So I don't know. I just, we'll talk about the draft Friday for sure. Is that Basement said he wanted to lose his shit on it.
I
Which-
don't blame him.
I am with him 110%. But I know Ronnie's been out of the loop. What have you thought about all of the stuff that's been going on?
I mean, it's the championship with Bailey and Charlotte, making her heel. I liked what they're going for and doing with that. I've seen that. The stuff with Bray and Seth, they finally did bring up the Hell in the Cell stuff, so I did see where that was kind of explained a little bit.
Right.
And then, of course, with watching Like we were talking about before the show, there's just so much. We've got the Raw, we've got NXT, and I have liked that the last couple weeks since it's been on USA. I mean, I've enjoyed every week with the different matches that they've had on there. Of course, Adam Cole's been on pretty much since it's hit USA. So,
Right. Well,
Of course he's happy with that.
NXT to me is the better show. It's better. They're better at their story. And before anybody just fucking loses their shit, well, it's only their third show. I don't give a shit if it's their third show or their fourth show. Apparently, this being the elite thing, they've been telling storylines on it. But the problem is not everybody has time to. Yes, and I understand they're only 10 minutes. But if I go and watch a video for 10 minutes, what am I going to spend with my daughter? What am I going to hang out with her? If I come home and sit down and.
Oh, I need to watch this so I can catch up on storylines that's on TV.
And that's where I have a problem. For those people, and it would behoove them, and they kind of did it this last Wednesday, put stuff, vignettes and such. There's nothing wrong with telling stories. Isn't that what fucking... Because I'm telling you right now, this is the problem that AEW is going to run into if they just did 2 hours of wrestling. I am literally wrestled out this week. That's how much wrestling there has been. And I love wrestling, but there is so much wrestling that you kind of want to break from wrestling when you're watching a 2-hour show. This is America. This is the United States. People don't give a shit about wrestling. All they care about is why these two are fighting. Why are these two fighting? Tell me why these two are fighting. And you can't tell that story in the ring. You have to be able to tell me why these two are fighting. Literally, tell me why these two are fighting. I don't know why. Here's my confusion. We talked about this. We talked about this at Lightum, I think last Saturday, about MJF. I do not understand, and apparently you have to watch Being the Elite to understand why MJF is acting like a baby face around Cody, but yet he acts like a fucking asshole to everybody else. I mean, he acts like an asshole to the fans. He acts like an asshole to everybody else but Cody. Is he a heel or is he a baby face? They need to make up their mind with because they'll ruin this guy if they do that. They don't tell me why he's doing what he's doing. I don't have time to watch Being the Elite. That's the thing.
well, the other thing I've noticed too with him, if you follow him on Twitter, he is starting to retweet like little snippets, like if he's doing fan interaction or if he's doing backstage stuff. He's either retweeting it or he's actually posting it on his specific Twitter for people to see little clips.
Right.
So I don't know if that may help. You're not seeing the full-fledged, but you're at least getting the gist of how he is.
Yeah. See, I just... That's my only problem with AEW at this moment. I have enjoyed what they've been doing, but they have said that we are different. We are going to be doing different things, but yet they continue to repeat what WCW and WWE have already done. Because the way that show ended on Wednesday is you go back and look at any finish to any Nitro or any WCW pay-per-view, it's a run-in. Run-in after run-in, run after run-in after run-in after run-in. And Chris Jericho he didn't need anybody to help him. Darby Allin, sooner or later, Chris Jericho was going to beat Darby Allin without Jack Hager's. That essentially was a spot fest for Darby Allin. That's all it was. They're showcasing that Darby Allin can take a beating. That's it. I much respect to the kid, but the beatings that he takes, he's only 22. He needs to slow the fuck down, or he's not going to be in wrestling past 30.
Not only that,
we
he's
said
doing
that.
all these beatings on Chris Jericho, their world champion, with his fucking hands tied.
Yeah,
You know how weak that makes your world champion look?
Having Jack Hager come in and do something with Darby Allin's hands tied behind his back, makes Chris Jericho look even weaker, in my opinion. It makes the champion look weak. And then people are like, well, he's 50. I don't give a shit if he's 40, 59. If he's the fucking champion, he should act like a champion. He shouldn't be beat by some kid that's just started. That's just my opinion. So we start off with Roman Reigns. We're getting the big push. He's actually wrestling Shinsuke for the IC title.
Yep. I'm glad they're opening the show with
And I'm telling you, right, this is another thing I've noticed with WWE. They're changing titles on shows. They never used to do that. If you're gonna, it makes no sense to do it. Take the titles off of people.
Just to put them back on them at a pay-per-view.
You don't draft a champion. Like, okay, so if Becky was drafted to SmackDown, is she still the Raw Women's Champion? That makes no sense. You knew she was going to be on Raw. Why?
That's why I said champion should have been ineligible.
Right, that's what I'm trying to say. Champion should not have been eligible at all. Now, the Intercontinental and the U.S. titles, those two can interchange. I think the Universal title and the WWE title could be interchanged because it's not brand specific. But the SmackDown Women's Champion and the Raw Women's Champion are brand specific. They made them brand specific. So whoever's the champion on Raw is going to be the champion on Raw. He's not going to be the champion on SmackDown. And they were
Same with
teasing...
those tag.
Go ahead.
Same with those tag titles. It's like there's one for each show. It's like that's where they stay.
Yeah, they aren't going anywhere.
No.
So Shinsuke...
My question...
Go ahead.
Go ahead, man.
No, go ahead.
My question about AEW is, okay, so it was a non-DQ match, and I think they said that at the beginning is a non-DQ match. So why did Jericho feel the need to distract the referee when Hagar came out and punched the shit out of Allen? It makes no sense.
It's a typical heel move.
Yeah.
I like, why was there a rope break? They didn't explain it, but why was there a rope break? It's no DQ.
Right. They promoted the match as a Philly street fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've never seen a street fight where they've had a rope break.
Right, and they kept saying, I guess during the commentary, that was something that was mentioned, and then it was repeated, that rope breaks would count. So I don't know if she was confused reffing the match, and that's why it was said, but they continued to say it afterwards, like they were making an excuse for why she did it.
No, according to Basement, they had mentioned the rope breaks before the match.
Offline.
Oh yeah, it's just leave it. It's nothing I can do about it.
Okay.
It's bad.
It's YouTube.
Okay, there it is.
No, I think it's OBS.
Did you drop it?
Okay.
No.
Then it was YouTube.
Okay, it was YouTube. They probably probably the opening. Just kidding, I don't know. And two, I'm going to say this, and we'll talk about it again on Friday. AEW needs to pace themselves just a little bit. Stop giving us these pay-per-view matches on TV.
Right.
Right, and I think the reason they're doing this is because, of course, November 9th is their first pay-per-view since being on TV. So I think with what they're building up to, that's why they're giving us those kind of caliber matches. Because then after the pay-per-view, of course, you've got the holidays. And then I don't think their next one is until January.
Okay.
So it would give them 2 months to kind of space it out.
I think there's a way for them to do that without giving us these. And I'm talking about like these AEW Dark. Kenny Omega Joey Janela match? Did that really need to take place? You know what I mean? Those are the kinds of matches that they don't need to be shown.
Right.
Because TNT is not going to allow them to show those kind of matches, especially with what happened between Joey Janela and Kenny Omega on TV. So when the fans go to watch their live TV show, live in studio, or live in the arena, they're going to be sitting there, well, why the fuck aren't you doing this live on TV?
Right. It's called a dark match. Nobody should be able to see it except for the people in the arena.
Yeah, that I don't even want to get into that.
No.
But that's my issue with AEW, and the only issues that I really have. Other than that, they're doing fine. They need to pace themselves. I get they're trying to tell stories, but there's a way to do that without giving us these matches.
And almost killing half of their fucking roster every week.
Right, and then when you have those kind of unsanctioned type matches too, they're not actually counting against that win-loss record either.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's another reason if they're going to have those types of matches, which they're not going to televise, then they're not going to have it affect when they're winning and losing.
Yeah.
But even with the dark matches, even with WWE, you're putting Bray and you're putting Rollins in the dark matches after the TV goes off.
Right.
And to me, that's something that, shouldn't be on TV, should be safe for a pay-per-view. But I know they're trying to keep the crowds there because people are leaving before the show ends because of what they have been giving us over the last couple of weeks with WWE. And I know it was a big thing when it was, I guess, Braun and Tyson Fury, that people they're complaining they don't want to see it. We know it's going to be a crown jewel. And that was our ending during that one night.
Okay, so on that, this is another thing, and we'll talk about this for sure, and we'll talk about it here because it's WWE. Look, and I said this, I think, when did I say it? Did I say it last week, or did I say it on This Week in Wrestling, or did I say it like last week on the show? Oh shit, midgets are on TV. They had midgets distracted me, I'm sorry. Give me a second. I'll find it. Help me out here. Somebody. Just WWE in general. What were we just talking about?
We were talking about Tyson Fury and Braun.
Oh,
and
the MMA stuff. WWE. They even said it themselves. Boxing. Triple H said it on Backstage. Boxing and wrestling have been together. They've done this before. Nobody's bitched about it. Why is it a problem now? I get it. I'm one of those people that is not for it. But this Saudi Arabia show, is it really gonna affect anything? Do you know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm saying? Cain Velasquez signed a multi-year deal with WWE. He's not going anywhere. This match is to build Brock up. I think Cain Velasquez will end up beating or losing to Brock, but it's to build up Brock. Yes. And I don't think Brock is a part-timer. I think Brock is there for the long haul for at least a year. He's going to be.
What I've read, the day he signed, Cain Velasquez signed with WWE when they did that presser, is the day he also retired from MMA.
Yes. Yep.
So I think more of the grief with Braun and Tyson Fury is the boxers that they used in the past, such as Floyd Mayweather and Mike Tyson. They were well known in the boxing. There's not a lot of people that even knew till they put the name up and then specified what he did. You don't hear a lot of news about Tyson Fury unless he is boxing.
He's one of the most well-known boxers, but there's a reason for that because boxing is outshined by UFC right now.
Very much so.
So he's one of the most well-known heavyweight boxers in the world. He's beat everybody. If they say he is the one guy that can bring heavyweight boxing back to its heyday. With the way this guy, he's a loose cannon. He can. I don't know about how well he can talk. He didn't sound too bad.
It's because he's British. It sounds like he muddles his words a lot.
Well, fucking Becky Lynch muddled her words every fucking other word. So, I mean, I don't understand why people are shitting. I think he's better at cutting a promo than Becky is. Becky sounds like she's got fucking Preparation H for fucking lunch. She puckers her fucking lips. She's out of breath after every word. It's just like, get a drink of water, Becky, before you come out, okay? I don't understand. It's just the way it is. It's the way they talk. But Becky's terrible at it. That's just my opinion. MMA is going to get eyes on the product.
Yes.
Trust me. Jack Hager has fought nobody in Bellator. So until he does something in Bellator, I don't
Right,
know.
and he is still under contract with them. He does have a fight on the 20th.
Right. He better not lose. That's all I can say.
Be kind of like when Tyson lost and he pulled out and they replaced it with Buster Douglas.
Once he loses...
No, that's what happened.
What?
So Tyson was supposed to be in WWE for one of the main events in the 90s.
Okay.
He was supposed to be a referee in the Hogan and Sid Justice match or something like that. However, he got knocked out by Buster Douglas and pulled out because he didn't think it would help his image right after getting knocked out, so they replaced it with Buster Douglas. So it'd be kind of like that.
Who would be kind of like, what are you talking?
If Tyson Fury got knocked out before and then...
Tyson Fury doesn't have a fight before he fights Braun Strowman.
I thought
Jack Hagar has a fight before.
Oh, okay.
And I'm telling you, he shouldn't lose. Because if he loses, then it ruins... It ruins Chris Jericho and what he was trying to build.
Right.
Because that shit's not scripted. That shit's legit. But I don't mind UFC guys showing up. It legitimizes the wrestlers themselves. Especially if you're able to go in the ring with a guy from UFC. Because those guys literally know how to fight. It makes Roman Reigns hanging with Brock Lesnar legitimizes Roman Reigns more than it does
Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins is the wrestling Jesus, the wrestling whatever the fuck you want to call him. But it legitimizes the wrestlers. So the more UFC people that show up, the more it legitimizes the business of wrestling. And people don't seem to understand that. They just think they're there to take the spotlight of their favorite person. They're missing the point. WWE is not. They're about legitimizing. Look at where they are. They're on Fox. Fox is a sports
network.
Sports broadcasting company, okay? They're known for their sports. They're known for football. They're known for baseball. They want to get known for wrestling. You didn't win, Bobbit. So, I don't mind it. I know there's a lot of people out there that do. I don't mind it. And we can talk about it throughout the show because, I mean, it is SmackDown, so... I don't mind talking about it. And in fact, it's one of those points that I was going to talk about tomorrow night, but we can talk about it here because I'll talk about it again tomorrow night.
Yeah, I just pulled it up. I mean, it's actually the 25th, and the guy he's going against is 3 wins, 1 loss, no draws, and his record is 2-0-0.
Right.
So yeah, like we're saying, and even with Sunday's match, this is what actually I was thinking about. Sunday's match with Impact, you've got Ken Shamrock, who, depending upon how this goes, could be signing potentially to continue wrestling, but he's going against Moose in the Impact's Bound for Glory this Sunday.
Right.
And I mean, Shamrock was in WWE. It's just whatever transpired that for some reason he's kind of.
People seem to forget that Ken Shamrock was in UFC before he came to WWE. I don't see the problem. I don't understand why people have such a problem with it. And yes, I was going to say something, but here's the thing. People shit all over Brock Lesnar being in the WWE because he was in UFC. But little do people know that Brock Lesnar was in WWE before he went to UFC. And for people that don't know, Cain Velasquez destroyed Brock Lesnar inside of the octagon. They showed it last week. That was not made up. That was literally what fucking happened. And then people are like, and then people are like, oh, Jack Hagar, this is the greatest. This is the problem that I have with people on Twitter, that are super fans of a certain company and don't like. WWE sucks. AEW rules. Okay, I call bullshit on those people because what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If you think Jack Hagar is ever going to make money for AEW, you're sorely mistaken. Because if he couldn't cut it in WWE, what makes you think he's going to cut it in AEW? That's my thing.
Well, and even dating back to WrestleMania, when you had Ronda in the audience and The Rock was in the ring and she came out to be in the ring with him, everybody was saying, oh, she's coming to WWE, she's coming to WWE. She then went back to UFC, she had those losses, and then she came to WWE. But everybody wanted that back then when they saw her in the ring with The Rock going against Stephanie and Triple H. That was the big thing. We want this. We want this.
Mm-hmm. You're right. The fans want, and then you give it to them, and it's not what they thought they wanted. Or how did I say that right? It's not what they expected, and then they shit all over it. And there's like, well, yeah, but that's not how I wanted it to go. Well, how the fuck did you want it to go? It's with the Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins thing. We want Bray Wyatt versus Seth Rollins. We want Bray Wyatt versus Seth Rollins. All right, we'll give you Bray Wyatt versus Seth Rollins, but we're not going to put the title on Bray Wyatt. But why? That's what we want. We can't give you everything. Where does the story essentially ends right there. When you beat Seth Rollins after destroying Brock Lesnar with broken ribs, how does it make sense to beat Seth Rollins in the middle of the ring? That's the question. How does it make sense? What the fuck did he just eat?
Pancake batter and protein powder.
Well, and that even dates back to the Royal Rumble. Everybody wanted Becky. Give Becky the chance. Put Becky in the Rumble. Becky wins it. Becky wins the title. And now everybody's complaining. Get the belt off Becky. We don't want her as champion anymore.
And it's not. And we talked about this, and I've said this off camera. We talked about it, I think, last Friday. I don't hate Becky. I hate the way she's been booked. Everybody shit all over WWE when they Roman Reigns. Becky got the exact same fucking treatment, and everybody thought it was the greatest thing since Wonder Bread. How is that logical, or does it make any sense? You shit on one thing, but then you're all for another. kind of doing the same thing. How does that make any sense to me? And this is a problem that I have with wrestling fans in general. They are so fickle. Daniel Bryan is right. They are fickle. We wrestling fans are the most fickle people in the world. We want, and then when we get it, it's not exactly what we want or how we wanted it to go. Well, if you think you can do better, and I said it in a tweet, if you think you can do better, by all means, apply to WWE, become a writer, and see if you can do it.
They are accepting applications 24/7.
So for people sitting there saying, well, I wouldn't have booked it that way, that's why you never hear me. I mean, I wouldn't book it that way, but I'm not going to sit here and shit all over it. I'm going to try to let them tell out the story. And then if they don't do it right, and then everybody's like, well, that made no sense. See, this is why I said I would have done it this way. It probably would have extended the storyline just a little further. But who knows? Who knows?
Well, and we've said it before. I mean, it's like a child with a new toy. They beg for it, they scream, they throw a tantrum in the store. You get it for them. They play with it for 10, 15 minutes. Boom.
Bored.
They're bored. Right.
Yep. And this is a
I mean,
problem.
you'll know that with Wendy.
Yes.
You got to keep her focus, and the focus is 5 to 10 minute spans or a little bit longer. But other than that, then they get bored, they move on. They want something else.
Well, the thing with Wendy is we could put a brand new toy in front of her.
I should go for the box.
She
instead of
goes
the
for
toy.
the box instead of the toy.
And that's what most kids that age. I mean, the Christmas, it'll be the paper and the tissue paper,
Yeah.
the boxes, the bubble wrap.
Bobby, you can talk. I know I've been talking. I'm just trying to fill time.
Yeah, which Ronnie, she loves the bubble wrap you use when you said us.
Okay.
Go ahead, Bobby.
I gotta say, I've been really liking the show so far. I can't complain.
I mean,
The opening match, I really enjoyed it.
it makes sense for them to do what they did.
Yeah.
I don't like where they're going with Roman Reigns, though.
Because it's looking like they're going to throw him in a tag team with Daniel Bryan.
Eh. Indianapolis.
I did like what happened. Baron Corbin intervened. Here comes Shorty Gable. See, he's not even shitting all over it. He doesn't mind being called Shorty Gable. I don't understand why people are so up in arms over it. I mean, Daniel Bryan is 1 inch taller than he is. I don't have a problem with what they're doing with this guy. They're using him. They're using him more than I thought they were going to use him. I thought they were just going to put him right back behind the stage again.
From what I read, people are saying it's bullying. It's how you pick on someone by calling them named, something derogatory.
Right, but how is you've seen his reaction to that?
Oh, yes.
How is it bullying if he's reacting? He's like, look at that, look at me, that's my name. How is that? How is that bullying?
Right, but it's not affecting him. But it's I guess how others are looking at it. Because I did see where someone says, okay, are they going to stay? We're now going to call Baron Corbin Baldy Corbin because he doesn't have hair.
People have.
Oh, yeah. And then, of course, Otis, Fat Otis, Heavyweight Otis. So that's where the people on Twitter, if it's not offensive to the individual, they're the ones taking offense to it.
Yeah, and it's stupid. It's stupid because they are the ones that are saying, "Well, Baron Corbin is bald." Okay, so the fuck am I? What's your point? Don't have hair. I don't care. He's short. Who cares? It doesn't matter, and I don't think it's bullying. Because how is it? He's actually being used and he's enjoying what he's doing. Or otherwise he wouldn't be there. He would pull a Sasha Banks and say, "Fuck this, I'm not doing that. Call me when you fucking find a storyline for me." I mean, come on. If he had a problem with it, he wouldn't be there. That's just the way I see it. Because these guys do have a choice. It is America. It's not like he isn't going to find another job somewhere. You know what I mean? So for people to sit there and say that when superstars are put in these positions, like if they're not being utilized properly, well, how do you know they're not bothered by it? Not everybody can be a fucking world champion. And this is one thing that fucking annoys the shit out of me. This is why WWE, you can't tell a freaking story without somebody losing their shit. Back in the, why do you know this? Back in the early 80s, back in the 80s, 90s, storytelling was no different. They used to tell these kinds of stories. They used to pick on the short guy. Nobody had a problem with it back then, but they seem to have a problem with it now, and I don't understand it.
Well, and I mean, you can even take this back to Dusty Rhodes, the gimmick they put him in with the polka dots.
Yes.
And then you had Dustin Rhodes with the gold dust, and then you had Cody with the Stardust.
Right.
And they took it, they made it theirs, and of course you've got now, like you said, you've got the people. He's not offended by it, or he's not being disgruntled about it. It's people on social media that are making it more of an issue than it actually is.
Yes.
They're trying to be the white knight. I get they're trying to stick up for him, but it's like,
he doesn't
like
need
you said,
to.
that doesn't have a problem with it.
You don't need you to. He's okay.
Right, unless he has a problem with it, unless he comes out and says, "Oh, WWE sucks today, treat me like shit," and stuff. No problem.
He's cutting the promo that he should cut. Be exactly who you are.
And I was going to bring this up when we talk about Impact, but Austin Aries just recently did an interview, and that was part of his interview was the issue he had with John Morrison and himself prior to going into his last match were the comments that were made on Twitter about his height that he took personal offense to, but he also took to Twitter as well and was making comments about Morrison's wife.
Right.
So that's where I guess it's a little bit different because he was taking offense to it with the name calling, but it was also part of why Impact had an issue with him because he then took it to another level, bringing the wife into it.
Right. And here's it's agenda. It's an agenda. Because you look at Chris Jericho and the movie that he's in with Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah.
He is playing a character as a grand. Listen to what I am saying. He is playing a character who is a grand wizard in a movie. Just because he's playing a character in a movie that happens to be a grand wizard does not mean that he is racist. Go watch some movies. Some of the most unracist people ever say the N-word in a movie. Does that make them racist? No, they're playing a character. Shut up. They're playing a character. Okay?
Well, even when you see movie stars and they do interviews with like Inside Edition or Extra, the people that take literally their role so serious, thinking And the one that comes to mind is the show I watched, Prison Break. People actually were reporting when they would see the main characters out in public, thinking they were actually breaking out of jail and they were in this convenience store, and calling the police. Or you had the Sons of Anarchy, where the main character was abusing his wife, and people actually thought that that's what he did in real life.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to blur the lines of fantasy and reality, but
Right.
people, the freaking TV
They
shows,
blur
like,
the lines, right?
yeah,
And it's the same with this. I mean, it's a character they're portraying, and if MJF is really that type of an asshole, but then you go and physically meet him in person, and he could be the nicest guy on the planet,
yeah,
then you got to separate the two. I mean, it's the guy's character. He's supposed to be that typical heel, but then in real life, he would probably give to every charity known to mankind.
right.
But they're trying to
It's
keep
like,
it separate. But the fans are looking at him, oh, this is the way he is, and I'm sure this is the way he is outside of the ring as well, because he keeps up that persona.
right. It's like when it's like saying that, oh my God, Robert Englund's really Freddy Krueger. It's like, it's so fantastic of a character. It's like, he's nowhere near that. He's like, what I heard, he's actually one of the nicest people, very charitable, always friendly to fans and stuff. But these people are like, oh my God, he plays this guy who kills teenagers in their sleep. It's like, do you know what you're saying? It's like, there's a difference between fantasy and reality. Cool it. And the sad thing is that happens more than we would think, probably.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's back when it was like, what was it? George Reeves was Superman. That people were like, that they're like kids who had like, some kid took his dad's gun and was gonna shoot him and try and find out he was bulletproof and stuff. They said he fended it off, saying that somebody could get hurt with a ricocheting bullet, but I mean, just the way that you know, they blurred lines between fantasy and reality, that it was that bad. I mean, my goodness.
Are you done talking? Because that was the weirdest fucking rant. It had nothing to do with fucking wrestling.
No, I mean just that these people, like Ronnie said, that like with Prison Break, that they saw the main actors outside and were calling the cops because they thought they really had broken out of prison. It's like that blurs the lines of reality and fantasy so much.
You're using references that nobody gives a shit about. Just saying. But anyway. Oh my God. What was that announcement with Flair?
Okay, so Hogan is planning on announcing his team captain by the end of the show.
I don't give a shit about team
replacing Seth.
What did Flair say?
Okay, I agree with Flair. It should be fucking Gilbert. Gilbert.
What are you talking about?
Because Flair said, when your captain doesn't want to go up against Team Flair, you're down 2-1. You got anyone else you want to call? He said Gilbert, Johnny Rods, Backlund. So he's just listing off random people.
Oh, so yeah, no, Gilbert, shut up.
Gilbert Mania.
No. That is the
He's
last
under
thing.
contract.
That is absolutely the last thing WWE needs to do.
No, it's the first thing that they need to do.
No, it's not.
Yes.
No.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said that Hogan is down its team captain second.
Yes, because he's already in the match. They double booked him, and then realized, oh shit, we double booked him. We can't do that.
Shows you what they think of that match.
I'm going to tweet at Gilbert now and ask him.
How much you want to bet it's going to be the main event?
Maybe the main event, but they're poorly already.
Has WWE, and I'm not trying to, has WWE planned anything great in the last couple of months? I understand you're just saying, I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm saying, has WWE done anything great in the last couple of months? Right.
According
Well,
to
even
no
with
wrestling,
what they
hasn't done
book.
anything great in the last couple of months.
No, none of them have. Well, I'm asking the damn question. I'm trying to prove your point here. Jesus Christ.
But I think too, when they booked Seth as team captain, I don't think they thought they were going to have the backlash they did with Hell in a Cell.
Right.
And that's why they're giving us the Seth and Bray and now taking him out of that equation because of the screw up with that.
Yep.
So they're going to just basically trying to redeem themselves by putting that match on the card.
But it's going to be the exact same finish.
It's going to be right. And with
So
that,
So by them saying, well, we're going to redeem ourselves, no, you're not. You're not redeeming yourself. You think you are, but you're not. That's actually, well, you guys don't see it. That's up at Fort McCoy, the Challenge Academy. Troubled teens who are possibly not going to finish high school. They put them
There,
through
I asked
military.
Gilbert if he's going to be on a Team Hogan. I'm waiting for his reply.
If he is going to be, then he's going to be like one of the first ones eliminated.
It's going to be the greatest match known to wrestling.
I can't believe that you really think that. I have a hard time believing that you believe that.
Hey, Gilbert should be in the Hall of Fame, damn it.
I have a hard time believing that you really think that, Bob. I really do.
I do. Since Glacier's part of AEW, I can't ask for Glacier anymore.
But is
But I
Glacier
can ask
part
for Gilbert.
Is Glacier part of AEW?
Well, he appeared on a video with Brandy, and plus he was in that Battle Royal for All In.
Okay. Does that mean that he is part of AEW? Just saying.
I don't know. Don't get my hopes up.
I was going to say, Bobbitt's hopes and dreams will be dashed.
I hope they are. Fuck Gilbert and fuck Glacier.
I want Glacier to be the AEW champion.
No, you don't. You want to kill the company quicker than shit.
No, it's gonna make it better.
No, it's not. I can't believe, and I'm being serious, I can't believe that you really think that.
Hang on.
I think they would put Sonny Kist as champion before they would put Glacier.
And if they put Sonny Kiss as champion, they're even dumber than I thought. Dolph Ziggler's out now, Bobby. You can stop.
I haven't done that in forever, so.
You did it the other day. You did it like 2 weeks ago. It's fine. I don't mind it. I don't fucking understand. Why? Oh, that's how they're going to make the show last 6.5 to 7 hours right there.
Yep. How you doing, Ray?
Jesus Christ!
What's up, Rain and Sarah? How's it going, guys?
Hey guys.
That's the entire card right there.
No shit. Just to get everybody on the show, let's have a tag team turmoil.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just about everybody on the fucking roster.
Right?
I hope the Saudis like us sitting for 4 hours.
I'm not watching it at this time.
Only I'll watch it for is the Strowman and the Velasquez match. That's it. The rest of it can go fuck off a cliff. Now, if Gilbert's part of Team Hogan, then that's the exception.
Yeah.
Oh god.
What?
Got two heavyweights together.
I go to a commercial. Because what? Oh god. I don't think you were here, Rain. I actually had to eat tacos for Taco Bell. Oh, was he? Oh my god. Was not good.
Hey, it can't be worse. You could go to a Mini Kiss concert.
That I will never do. Ever.
We gotta find out the date for that, because if they're still there for your father's party.
That's tomorrow.
Yeah,
We're not going anywhere near there.
they're up in the Dells.
No shit, but I'm not gonna go near there. I'm gonna be in my car, and if I see one of them little fuckers crossing the street,
You're gonna run them
I'm
over.
gonna run that motherfucker over.
Just make sure it's not the Pulse family.
I don't care if it's one of them or if it's another midget. Fucker's getting run over. It's worth the jail time for it. I would never hit one. I just.
Not to mention the damage to the car.
Wow, the imprint on you taping. Come here. You can't see what's. See?
Yeah. And he's looking at it in his monitor.
It's fine. It's what it is. Okay. The rest of this. I'm gonna run and get some armor. I'm trying to figure out where they're coming from. I don't know where they're fucking from.
I don't either. We're not going to feed out.
I know they're fucking trash again.
That happens. I need to spread the food on a plate.
Well, not the next fucking day. It was one of the fucking things. Bullshit they do.
I saw in that one chat, I guess it was the Indianapolis event with NASCAR, and they had the midgets wrestling beforehand.
Oh,
In the chat.
Bob had actually
Joke
sent
or
that.
something.
I'm like, I'm gonna fucking kill him. I'm gonna fucking kill him. I think we were actually
Referee.
doing something. I don't remember. I think me and Basement were doing something, and I said I'm gonna kill Bobbit. I'm just gonna drive down to Virginia and I'm gonna kill him.
It's probably like the whole group. You had the referee. It was probably the ring announcer. It was probably the bell ringer.
Well, Hogan had a whole show that midget championship wrestling, wherever that was. So maybe they came from his federation.
What?
Said Hogan had that whole midget championship wrestling, so maybe he gave him the good word, and they hired them from his recommendation.
You and your dad jokes. You had white sauce pizza? What the fuck is white sauce pizza?
When Trek gets done with it.
Oh no.
And then spread the sauce and has no tomatoes in it.
Or Alfredo sauce. Okay,
Yeah,
I got you.
or
I
something.
got you. I got you. It's like that chicken pizza that we get at Walmart. Actually, it does sound. I had my.
For a while there, that's
For a while there, that was the only pizza I could eat. I had pizza today and I threw up my mouth a little bit, so I think I'm done eating pizza for a little bit.
Yeah, the
Gives me
acidity
heartburn,
of
man.
tomatoes. That you
Gives me
don't have it.
I love Italian food though, and that
I know
sucks.
that's the kicker though. When you have the acidity issues or the GERD, or if you have anything with
Yeah.
heartburn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
GERD is awful.
What the fuck is it? What the fuck is it? One of the most over superstars in the WWE right there. How come he doesn't get a title shot? But I don't think Otis got his shoulder up on that one.
Yeah, you got silver up.
Shut up, Bob, I was kidding.
You know what, Tappy? My balls, your chin, motherfucker.
Yeah, okay, if you say so. Of course, New Day's got to get the win.
Of course.
Because
But-
New Day must pose.
But they did give Heavy Machinery the time where they weren't getting the time on Raw.
Yes, I get to see Roman again tonight.
Get to see Roman again?
Yeah, he's fighting Corbin.
He's the Seth Rollins of this promotion. He's just on SmackDown.
Well, think about it. They can't really do it at Saudi Arabia because Sami Zayn can't be there.
The fuck are you talking about? Fucking midget, fucking wrestling and wrestling member. What the fuck are you talking about?
You were drunk through most of it, so, and you probably don't remember it too well, but there was quite a few times that midget wrestlers were part of Monday Night Raw. During the Attitude Era.
Nope. I'm talking to my daughter. Sorry. I'm gonna help her with Austin's costume.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure. I said I was gonna go to Madison tomorrow. That's all the way on the other side of where I need to be tomorrow for my dad's birthday. So just give me a second. So she goes, I thought you said you were gonna be in Madison tomorrow. I don't remember saying that. But okay, I can. She goes, no, it's okay. She got the costume. You just said you'd get the money. I will come tomorrow. And I said, yes. So she's gonna
be there.
I'll give her the money. I gotta help her with gas. Her car's there. I guess is accident. I like Daniel Bryan. I hate Daniel Bryan. I don't hate him. He doesn't get me excited to watch wrestling. Yeah, those what you're talking about, Ronnie, is those were like little 5-minute filler matches. Like the women's matches were gimmick. Were not. I mean, they were gimmick matches, but they were more or less showcase, or what's the word I'm looking for? Not showcase, but they were more
Comedic?
No, they weren't comedic. They were legit matches. It was more or less.
Practical?
There you go. Kind of like a champion should be. He should be a an event that happens. He shouldn't be
attraction.
somebody that's there all the time. An
Yeah,
attraction.
like the
There you go.
fairs and stuff
An
like that
attraction.
in Frederick and Hagerstown. They would have like the rings set up, and then when they would have them at the Civic Center, it was more because they would have like two intermissions. So it would be like they would have the little midgets come out during one intermission, and they would just be running around the ring, and then 5 minutes later they'd restart the show again, and then the next one they do their next intermission, and they would have like a women's match that would take place.
Mm-hmm.
Go get something to drink, and it was like last call for beer and stuff like that. And then they would have like the main event after that. So it was kind of like you said, fill the time, but had something going on in the ring. Like when you had the Disney on Ice shows and stuff like that, you would have permission, and people would still be out there doing entertaining things for people that stayed in their seat and that.
Here's another thing. Here's another thing I want to talk about real quick. We'll probably talk about this. I think we did talk about it last Friday. People going out buying WWE 2K20 and then people bitching about the fucking ratings. Like I seen people bitching and complaining that Sasha Banks was only at 80 and who was a 90? Becky was like a 90 or something like that. Does
Charlotte.
it? The funny thing to me is you can edit those players, yes or no?
Yes.
Mhm.
So why are people complaining about where Sasha Banks is as far as her rating?
Oh, speaking of that, I have an announcement for MVW. From what I understand, Creator Bell is not in 2K20, so I'm just gonna stick with 2K19.
Okay.
I'll probably get 2K20 on Black Friday or something.
Okay, I don't care. I'm just letting you know. I now answer my question. Why are people so upset that Sasha Banks is rated at an 80 when you can edit her player?
Because they don't
Okay.
know that you can edit it.
JP, these are also coming from her stand, so to them she's like 129. She's like a Captain Fanta to them.
Oh my god. Is this guy ever going to wrestle again? Or is he just going to do this?
It doesn't seem like it.
Well, what was it that you said about the statement that he and Becky made the other day on Twitter, and they were attacking that Roman and Becky made? There's some statement about that. I can't remember whether it was on Twitter, and then you said that if it was that they're attacking Roman, but they can't be found to attack Becky.
Oh, you're talking about the statement with the finish of Hell in a Cell. So
Yeah.
that's where that statement comes from. Roman Reigns didn't like the finish of the match, like most people.
Right.
But show a little respect to the wrestlers every once in a while. It's not their fault. They're just doing what they're told. I think we talked about it on Friday.
Can't pull it on your face. She just looks like she's pouting.
I didn't even see it. She could be fighting with her emotion. She does look angry to me. I mean, Sasha Banks looks like not angry, so I don't understand.
The way she's behaving is that she's more condescending towards the fans. Like giving the fans looks of I told you
But I can understand Bayley fighting with her. I don't mind her being like this right now. She's conflicted. Do you remember how Anakin Skywalker was in The Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah.
That's how she looked. She looked upset. I'm trying to think of the word.
Conflicted.
Yes, conflicted, but she seemed sad. No, she's right. Even though the because NXT titles are now pretty much being solidified as main roster.
Charlotte should be the first ever one to show not only the NXT Women's Championship, but also the Divas Championship.
Yeah, but they don't count that. She looks angry.
There she does. Came out tonight. She just looks like she was pouty.
Well, again, she's conflicted. And I understand that. I don't mind the emotion that she's showing. I think that's funny. You know what I thought was funny? The picture of that kid on Twitter crying. This one. I fucking love it. Fucking love it.
Oh, this little kid with the Bailey putty.
Yeah.
Can we get an F in the chat for the Bailey Buddies?
Can we get an F in the chat?
Yeah.
What?
Press F to pay respects.
Press
They'll
F?
be back.
Press F?
Yeah.
Why F?
It's a Call of Duty meme.
I think I figured it out. Never mind. You got it. I
Okay.
see why you say F. Why can't it be an S? Or an E?
I don't know. Hey, I don't make the rules. I just enforce them, okay?
What's that? Oh, no, right? He's good. I did like what she said there. And then she walks away smiling. I don't mind it.
I don't like the makeup. Dear God.
No, I don't like the makeup. She's conflicted. I'm not. Because I can. I just go, why not? There you go.
Or anyone explanation.
I like it.
Maybe you don't know any explanation, but what about all those kids that we talked about you, idolized you? Champion that doesn't talk. Brock Lesnar?
Oh, shit.
Is your Paul Heyman? Why the lash out? You come here to feature why? Is it a respect issue? It's not sharing you loud enough? What was it? Bailey? Insecurities?
Well, what was it for you, Miz?
Maybe, hey, this might change you. This might
See, she looks angry.
Maybe it's fact
God, that fucking eyeliner in the corner of her eye makes like she looks like she's 40 something years old.
It does make her look angrier.
She's really old. This is
It's not up to anybody, especially you.
Especially?
In the fifth round? Third round, first round, it doesn't matter when I talk. Change my look and slash a few Bailey buddies.
oh shit.
Bailey Bellies. At least she didn't fucking stop and then restart.
Stupid Bailey buddies. Slash those Bailey buddies because that has defined me my entire career. No, they saw me. They saw me fun, colorful, something to put a smile on their face. But what about me, Miz? Every single week I gave and I gave and I gave headbands, high fives, hugs. And all they did first won the SmackDown Women's Championship, I said I was going to elevate the division, and I did exactly that.
Did you?
At Hell in a Cell, I lost my title. I was heartbroken. I was in pain. And I was crying. And wasn't anyone there for me.
She looks so old.
Okay, well, at least she's not sounding horrible.
No. I put myself second my entire career to be a role model for their children. And when I needed them most, where were they?
They were booing Charlotte.
They destroyed me. But like the role that I am, I picked myself up and I won my title back.
Did?
But again,
That's right, she did.
when I walked to that
Bobbit, you gonna cry?
that there was anybody waiting there to congratulate me.
No.
Okay. You look angry, though.
No, I used to think that this
No, I'm just listening to her promo.
lazy. Division lacks desire and lacks passion.
Drew McIntyre from me.
And I used to be there.
Who cares?
Hey, Tony.
To try to be
What's up, Tony?
what they wanted.
Hey there, Tony. How's it going?
But the truth is, I have outgrown them.
I pooped my pants. What?
Are you going to tell me some inspiration? Life sucks, and then you die.
Hey, she's right. She's not wrong. Oh, Christ. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, she's got her own theme.
Yeah.
That has enough feeling.
What the
Guys, speak for everyone here. And if you know what,
what are you, fucking Mick Foley?
Apparently.
then the time for talking is done, and the time for action is
What did she just say to me?
my God.
Look at this fucking guy.
Oh, God.
And after I won that last night,
Oh, he just got it. The 8-ball finally hit him. Did you see his eyes?
What?
Did you see his eyes? The fucking 8-ball hit him. Dana Brooke.
This is a six-pack challenge.
Yep.
To see who gets to take on Bailey for the title.
not so fast. Let's want to talk about passion and desire. You know what fueled my passion and desire?
Hey, it's Dana Botch.
Nothing more than being underutilized and overlooked. That was the past. Tonight marks a new beginning, and I can feel it.
Stop punching your boobs. You're going to pop one of them.
And the WWE Universe,
Actually, she doesn't have wrestling time.
because
Yeah, pop like a balloon.
It'd be like the Bailey Buddies,
Yeah.
flailing to the side.
And there's your winner.
Hey, Ronnie, it's cool. Look like one of those blowouts on the interstate.
Yeah.
They're turning her baby face.
Of course they are.
Yeah, I'm thinking they're going to give it to Carmella.
So, Carmella, Nikki Cross, Dana Brooke, Lacey Evans, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville. Of those six, who do you think is winning?
Placed.
I'm going Carmella.
I think Carmella might win, but I wouldn't put it past them to put Lacey Evans over.
I see Sonya winning.
Good. They're agenda pushing.
They might be agenda pushing, but
Well, not only that, but I've been watching Total Divas ever since it came back on, and they've been talking about giving her a huge push.
Yeah, Austin watched
Why?
the
Why?
first show
Can I ask
and
this? Let me ask this question. Why in the fuck would Total Divas say, "Hey, we're gonna give you a big push"?
Because the Total Divas, they have them backstage at the arenas and all of that.
Yeah.
It's part of those conversations that they catch.
And this is why I don't watch that fucking shit.
Yeah,
This
'cause
is why.
even
This is why wrestling is going to die.
that first show was pretty much the Royal Rumble and then the Women's Rumble, and you saw all the backstage with Nia and Carmella, which led up to the issues in the ring. And even during that, I mean, Natty and Lacey were fighting back then with their interaction in the ring. So, I mean, that's been going on since the women's Royal Rumble in January. But yeah, like Heather said, all those conversations when they're getting their makeup put on and stuff like that, that's all.
Right.
But the only reason I started watching it again was for Ronda Rousey.
No, I get what you're saying, Rain. Wrestling will never die, but it will die mainstream. It will die in mainstream. It won't be mainstream anymore.
It'll go to online streaming only.
Well, no, it's not even that because that becomes mainstream. But I think wrestling's just essentially people are going to quit watching it. It doesn't matter what the promotion, and yeah, wrestling will never die. Wrestling will always be there because there's always going to be those people like me that are going to watch it. But if you look at it, wrestling wrestling just isn't what it used to be. I don't know if they can. What wrestling has, how do I say this? And I've said this numerous times. Wrestling, everything in wrestling has been done. It's how it's presented, how, and I don't know if AEW can. I think where wrestling, the viewership that wrestling has now is probably about as far as it's going to go. I don't see it getting any bigger. Just give me a second.
Oh shit! The Treehouse of Horrors coming back on.
I'm going to tell you, right?
Yeah, but with WWE, when you have shows like Ride Along and you've got them feuding in the ring, but then you're watching Ride Along and you see them traveling together. And I mean, even with like Total Divas and that, I mean, I know it was 6 to 9 months before it's aired, but you see all the backstage stuff that they're putting on the show, or you see them privately talking with one another. Because I think the next couple episodes upcoming is when Carmella was having all the issues with the social media, calling her the home wrecker.
Actually, they showed that episode last week.
Okay. So, I mean, all that stuff is now, even though it's been out, they show what transpired actually when all that was occurring, which led up to her issues, why she wasn't, when she had the medical issues, plus she had the mental health issues with that relationship.
Right.
Yeah, so that's the one thing with is they're always like a few months behind what's
Yeah.
actually going on with the storylines now.
I understand that.
Right. And I mean, Brie and Nicole, Bella were in it, and that's where Brie was saying that she's not coming back to wrestling because she's trying for her second child. And then you were getting Rhonda talking to her husband about after WrestleMania, she wants to have the child, and behind the scenes with her stepkids.
Yeah. I've watched one episode of Total Divas,
I
and I
had turned it off after
never
5 minutes.
ever watched it again.
Well, see, it's like a guilty pleasure watch for me.
Why?
I don't know. I just like it. I don't know why.
Well, I don't know what to tell you, man. You need to
You can
quit
get hair and
smoking.
makeup tips on there.
There you go.
Yeah, damn.
Maybe I should watch it then. I should learn how to do my makeup properly.
Well, these two are having a. What the fuck is that? Can be. I think Lacey Evans has some pretty good talent. I just wish they'd change her gimmick.
Even if they sat there and made her Rosie the Riveter kind of thing.
Well, she is Rosie the Riveter.
No,
kind of.
Rosie the Riveter was the woman that went to work while the men went to war. She's the woman that went to war. That's the difference.
I thought you were going to say she's a woman that's a whore. And you can see all of those. See, that's the thing. WWE, if they go off of TV, they have the network. So if they end up getting taken off of TV, they have the network. And I can tell you that people are gonna go watch it. There will be people that go there, and that's how they, they'll do their thing.
Yep, all those people that cancel the network will be back subscribed.
Of course.
Come on. Oh, sorry. Oh, allergy.
Well,
And to all those people that unsubscribed from the network because of how the Hell in a Cell ended, you unsubscribed from that finish caused you to cancel the network. These are the same people that I heard cancel the network. Oh, I'm going to cancel the network if they do this. They do it, and then they're still watching the very next day. Oh, I'm going to cancel the network. But the Bray Wyatt thing is a drawing point. That's where you draw the line in the sand. That match wasn't the worst booked match in WWE at that point. In fact, yes, it was poorly booked, but shit, I've seen worse.
I'm gonna go get some cake. I'll be right back.
Bring us some too.
If I can mail it to you, I would.
The network, to me, there is more than just what they do now. There is so much older content on there that it allows me to like what we're doing on the Horny Goat right now. We are watching our version of the Monday Night Wars. We're actually watching each show and talking about it. So the network has its uses. I'm getting my $9.99 worth by doing that, and I'm enjoying myself. I get to watch pay-per-views that I never got to watch. I haven't seen all of the pay-per-views, but the WCW, the old WCW pay-per-views, I fucking love those.
Well, you have that. You have the Chronicles that they do.
Yeah, they have a lot of. It's anybody that doesn't have the network or canceled, unsubscribed because of one bullshit finish. Man, I can understand. It's your money. I can understand if you couldn't afford it or you just didn't want to pay for it anymore. If you just cancel it because of the Bray Wyatt thing, you're a damn fool.
And I think a lot of the mentality with that is I'm canceling the network because I'm not going to watch their pay-per-views anymore. And it's like, well, then if they've got a pay-per-view that's up and coming down the road, yeah, you're going to resubscribe because why would you pay $50, $60 when you can get it for the $9.99 a month?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where I guess some of the logic is with people is because they put on such shitty pay-per-views, I'm not going to have the network anymore, not thinking, oh, I get Ride Along, I get Chronicles, I get the old stuff, I get the archive stuff, I get the libraries from WCW, and that they're not thinking about. They're just thinking this pay-per-view sucked. I'm not going to give you my $9.99 a month.
But the funny thing is that pay-per-view that you just watched is probably worth $9.99.
Right. And that's the thing. I mean, for what you get monthly on there, why pay 50 some dollars for a pay-per-view when it's a shitty pay-per-view to begin with? I would complain more if I paid $50 and had that outcome.
And if you're doing it to make a statement, WWE doesn't fucking. You're just a number to them, and it's only $9.99. Nobody, and apparently they aren't too worried about it because they're making more money now than they ever were. So people that are canceling their subscriptions aren't making a dent in the profit of WWE. In fact, they account for those losses. And people don't seem to understand that. Vince is a very smart businessman.
Well, it goes all the way back to when they launched with WrestleMania 30. Because all I heard were, I didn't even have the network then, but all I heard on the podcast the next day, I'm canceling my network because Taker lost. I'm canceling because the streak's over. It's like, you're just bought for the network. It's like they made it possible so you couldn't even do that with that legacy program. You had to sign up for 6 months at least. So it's like, but even back then, people were still bitching.
Yeah, but I mean, even like Wendy right now, I mean, she's watching this, she's watching things down the road. They can go back to WrestleMania 1 and say, look, this is what happened 40 some years ago, 50 some years ago. You're able to actually go back and watch that. Or these are the Raws that they had back then versus what you're getting now. And you can watch those.
It's an interesting swerve. I like it.
Nikki Cross just won.
Yep.
Nice.
But it's ultimately to tell the Alexa Bliss. It's going to be
the separation of them even further, and I like it.
The rivalry begins.
Yeah, between those two fighting, yep.
But the crowd doesn't understand it. And this is the problem that I have with the crowd. They sit on their hands. This is one of those things. The crowd does not give a shit about it. But the people were clamoring, how come Nikki Cross isn't getting this? How come Nikki Cross isn't getting this? And then they give it to you, and this is why WWE doesn't do anything. They won't have her win because you're all sitting on your fucking hands and pouting. Well, why here? Because it makes sense. This is the problem that I have with WWE fans. This is the problem that I have with wrestling fans. You are never fucking satisfied. If you're never satisfied, why did you even start watching in the first place?
Right. It's like, we got what we wanted, and then someone's like, well, she won, but it's not what I wanted them to do. It's like, so you never can please some people.
The thing is it's more about, it's not even about who's winning. It shouldn't even be about who's winning. It should be about why that person is winning.
Yeah.
Fans shouldn't worry about, and I've said this before, and I know I have, and I know you know I've said this, and I keep repeating myself, the fans should not worry about who is being pushed as long as it makes sense.
Exactly. But it's like I said before, it's instant gratification. It's not like when we were growing up watching, it's like for a year, and we didn't have Raw, we didn't have SmackDown, we had Saturday Night's Main Event, we had Superstars, we had Wrestling Challenge. So we had to wait for these storylines to build and then build to a crescendo. But nowadays, it's like, well, we want this person to win right now. It's like, watering it down, that makes it shitty. It's like, let them build to it and see what they can do, but people want it now.
That's the problem with people today. That's our society.
Right. It's like when I'm going to use an example here.
You already
When
did.
VHS, no, and when it was VHS first came out and stuff, that it took like a year or sometimes 2 years to get from the theater to VHS to video and stuff, and then all of a sudden, after a while, nowadays, it's like 2 months. So it's like instant gratification right then because people want it now. They don't want to go wait. They don't want to go see it multiple times. They want to see it now, and then they want to buy it as soon as they get out of the theater.
Okay, Trek, here's the counterpoint to that. Do you really want to wait for a fucking year for a movie to come out on VHS?
No,
really?
No. I just mean that it's faster than it's ever been. I mean, it could be the next year will go to streaming and stuff. I mean, just like that we had to wait for like a year or two for movies to come out on VHS. Nowadays, it's like next day. Sometimes it's like you can go stream. Like 3 from Hell, the Rob Zombie movie was just in theaters, and now it's out on DVD already. So it took like what,
I've not
3
seen
weeks?
Okay, so I don't ever remember a movie once it came out we had to wait a year. I don't ever remember that.
I don't
Back to
either.
the Future, we had to wait a year.
Yeah, I mean Star Wars. I think it's like more like 5 months because Star Wars comes out and then they release it on April. So I don't think it's 2 months. That's I don't. But the 3 from Hell, do you really think that was going to make any money in movie theaters?
No, but I mean, I'm
Okay,
just
that's
using
why
the
they went direct.
example that's not faster.
But that's why they went directly to video like that because they weren't going to make money off the videos or off the movie theater.
No, I understand.
Well, even like with those franchise movies, when you start out and you have the one and it's such a big hit, and then you've got people, okay, well, when are you doing 2? When are you doing 3? Yeah. Or even with TV series, it's like, okay, season 1's now done. They've got it on Netflix or Hulu. And then you've got, okay, when's season 2 coming out? Or are you doing a season 3? Are you doing a prequel? Yeah. Or are you doing a sequel?
Well, actually, I'm the same way when it comes to Stranger Things. Like, yeah, I want season 4 right now, damn it.
Well, okay. We are in a society of binge watching. And Basement said this. We are in a society of binge watching. So they're going to do stuff and then release it all right away. That's the way it's coming to. And then people are going to. That's why Netflix is huge. That's why Hulu is big right now. Because you can binge watch a season in one freaking day.
Yeah.
Because they have the streaming service. That's why you're going to all those streaming services now.
Mm-hmm. And well, it's like Hobbs and Shaw came out in August, and it's out now, digital download. And I mean, it's a month and a half later.
Right. So all these ratings that you hear about, they're essentially going to be non-existent. Yeah. Because people don't watch Fox. They watch Hulu. And wrestling, I am pretty sure, still gets views upon views upon views. People DVR stuff. And they don't take into account those numbers. Immediately, the very next freaking day, the numbers come out. Okay? And NXT was and I figured it out, I think it was the 69th most watched show on Wednesday night. And AEW wasn't that far ahead of it. It was like, I think, 20 spots. But the numbers weren't that big of a difference. It was only like a 200,000. That may seem like a lot, but it's really not.
Right.
It's really not. If you really look at the numbers, look at 7 billion people. How many people live in the United States? It's over, like, isn't it like 300 million or something like that, or 400 million? Right?
Around there, yeah.
That tells you, take that number of people that watched NXT and divide that number by that many people that live in the United States. But that's a percentage of people that watch NXT. You look at the number, the bigger number, look at the number of people that watch SmackDown and divide that by however many million people live in the United States. That gives you the amount of people, that gives you a better percentage of the number of people that watch wrestling in the United States, period. Because that's where those ratings are coming from. They're not worldwide. They don't, I'm sure WWE gets numbers worldwide. I don't know how many people watch in India or whatever. I tried finding that and I can never find it. But I'm pretty sure that there is more people that watch WWE than they do AEW or NXT. It's because WWE SmackDown and Raw have been a mainstay in the wrestling world for how long now? They're so ingrained in pop culture that it's just one of those shows that you pop in and watch.
Right, and that's the thing. I mean, you see their numbers weekly for Raw and SmackDown, and it's not like you see on social media, oh, I can't wait till next Friday to watch SmackDown to see what happens or what's going to happen. But then when you see the numbers, you know people are watching.
Mm-hmm.
Because the numbers aren't, I mean, they've dwindled from 10 years ago, but back then it was, yes, we definitely can't wait because we didn't have that access unless you did tape it on the VHS. Oh, well, now I want to watch this Sunday night before the show Monday night because you were actually anticipating what was going to happen each week. Whereas you don't see that much now with social media. It's like, I'm not watching it next week. I'm tired of what they're giving us. But then you look at the numbers each week and it's like, are these the same people that are bitching every week? They're still watching.
Yep, they are. And it's fine. I'm not going to tell them to stop watching because they're going to watch anyway. And I don't care. But the thing is the funny thing is Basement and I were talking the other day, and we were just talking, and it's like, all right, those people that say I'm gonna quit watching WWE because of what happened with the Bray Wyatt thing, and I actually tweeted at somebody, so I'm gonna take a break from WWE. So you're not gonna watch NXT? Well, and then they said the only shows I'm gonna watch are NXT and AEW. But I'm not gonna watch. I'm gonna take a break from WWE for a week. So you're not gonna watch NXT next week? I don't understand what you mean by this. I think people are so caught in the crossfire with this NXT thing that they forget that they are WWE.
See, and for me, NXT, there's always been something since that has come onto the USA Network. There has always been at least one or two matches that I am that way, like, oh, I can't wait to next week. Like this week, I was looking forward to Pete Dunne and Damian Priest. Of course, I got the bonus. Adam Cole was on it again. And then I wanted to see what was going to happen with with Tegan Knox coming back because Rhea Ripley came out during Io Shirai, so I knew Shayna Baszler was going to be coming out.
Right.
So with me, it's always been that anticipation. I know somebody's either coming out or I know someone's going to be wrestling. So I'm looking forward to more with NXT than it would be if I was watching Raw and what we had last week. And of course, this week with SmackDown, there's really nothing right now that I'm looking forward to with Raw Monday.
No.
I'm more looking forward to NXT next Wednesday.
Yes. I mean.
But like you said, you got the cross there where people are saying, oh, I'm not watching WWE. And then you're like, okay, well, Wednesday's NXT or you're not going to watch that. But there's something there that, they want to see. it's not like you're going to take 4 weeks and tape Raw and then sit and binge 4 weeks worth of Raw. You could probably watch it all in 10 minutes. That's how exciting it's been.
Do you know what the best thing to do is? Watch what you want to watch and move on from it and go to something else. That's the way people are today. Like oh my god, he's back to this.
The PowerPoint shit again.
Oh, come on.
And Drew Gulak is going to be squashed.
Yep. But I mean, if you're just going to watch bits and pieces of Raw or SmackDown, you can do that right on YouTube because they highlight the.
Yeah, but it doesn't show the whole match. It only shows highlights. I want to see the whole match. And then WWE only shows what they want to show too. That to me isn't. Why do I need to go to YouTube and watch content on YouTube that I can see here? It's the same problem I have with AEW. Why do I need to go to YouTube and watch AEW when I can watch it on TNT 2 hours a week?
Right, but for some people, it's just if they just see that little bit of a highlight, and then you'll see the Twitter feed, or oh well, that was enough for me because it looked like it was a shit show, or you see people on your timeline that are shitting all over the show. It was awful. It was horrible. It wasn't worth sitting there for 3 hours. Just go watch the clips on YouTube.
Oh, that may be right, but it is what it is. Well, Gulak, you know where Gulak stands in WWE.
He's going to be the next Mike Bennett.
This is true. But you're combining two shows, though. But you also have to remember, here's the thing that people really don't understand. There are people that have more than one TV in their house. So they might be watching NXT on one show and AEW on the other. The numbers are skewed a little bit. They could be skewed a little bit. They're still counting them as viewers, though. Yeah. The 270 viewer count, it doesn't matter. Raw's still getting more viewers than both shows combined.
Right, and I know also because True TV's putting it on as well, how they're doing, if you're watching it on TNT, because I know they're also doing that because basketball's because they're doing the previews and stuff for that. Basketball season's going to be taking over with TNT, but I did notice this past weekend there was a baseball game or something that was delayed or rained out on TBS, and they actually aired the beginning of AEW, the first match, and the main event the week before from Boston during that rain delay.
Right, but they actually did say they were going to preempt, because a game, depending on if one of the playoff games ran over, they were going to put it on True TV, because baseball, look, people, and I was waiting for it to happen, because people seem to think, and if all you do is watch wrestling, you need to find something to do with your life, because there's more out there than just wrestling. And people losing their shit. TV is not, trust me, money to these stations is not wrestling. It's just something that they put on to entertain people with. If you think Fox, how do I say this? Fox gave WWE $1 billion because football made them that much money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well, like this weekend, the race got delayed because of rain. They had stage 1, but then when they cut the race off, saying they wouldn't re-air it till Monday, starting with stage 2, Fox Sports 1 put SmackDown from Friday night on. They rebroadcasted the draft.
Yep. Which
So, I
They
mean,
were
I don't even know with numbers if they even count that because it's already been aired, and just because they put it on. So those aren't even factored into those original numbers. So, I mean, that just bumps up the number for that viewing at that time.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know if they do. I think they might actually put it on there. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know how they do that.
I think that's what they wait for the sweeps week, because that's the quarterly finals for all
Quarterly
of the ratings.
reports. And that, I mean, that would make sense, especially if you're doing it on multiple networks.
Yeah.
But I know that that's one thing. When you see the AEW numbers and then you see them adjusted, they hadn't taken, I guess, into account that was just TNT's views, but then you also have it on the True TV or with the SmackDown. Like I said, Sunday they re-aired it when the race got delayed and postponed. So you had Friday's numbers, but then with them re-airing the 2 hours Sunday afternoon to have something on, and then with that baseball game when they put it on TBS with AEW, they've got to factor them in somehow.
Right.
And they got to factor in when basketball starts, which is already
Correct.
preseason.
Yes. This guy's fucking. That was good. Yes, SmackDown on Friday will be on FS1 because of the baseball game. Because of the
Baseball
World
games,
Series,
yep.
Which,
That's
okay,
the only time.
it's fine. What's a bigger money maker for Fox? It's
Baseball.
baseball.
My dick.
It's baseball. So there you go.
I don't want to shut up.
Not only that, but I know how important ratings are, but
Ratings aren't important. Okay, I'm going to say this. It's important to the movie or to the TV station. Is it important to the fans?
No.
Why are we worried about what the ratings are? If I'm going to base the ratings off of what is good and what isn't good, then I shouldn't be watching TV because I have no idea what is good and what is not good.
right.
I know what WWE gives us for content is not good. You need to watch a show based on content, not
Yeah.
who gets the most views. If
No,
that's
I
the case, we would all be watching Temptation Island.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That's a fate worse than death.
Well, it gets more views it gets more views than any other fucking show that I know of.
No, I know. I agree
Okay,
with you on
well-
saying that ratings are important, but they need that the system is antiquated. Like Bruce Pritchard even said, the Nielsen system needs to be fixed because they are so stuck in their ways that they can't get the other ratings that are more important too. That's what I was saying. That it needs to be updated.
Right, but the thing is that is there a way to do it? Because that leaks into your privacy.
They're starting to though. They're starting to include DVR. They're starting to include like what's the one? Twitter trending, and they're starting to include all this stuff.
Well, Twitter trending. Why do you think WWE does the shit that they fucking do? Because of Twitter.
Oh no, that's exactly. That's what I was gonna say. That's why they depend on Twitter so much. And then I think it's +3, +5, +7 for DVR.
Okay.
Right, because I know on my DVR, I can watch a program and I can record up to 4 on other channels. And during like that time framing. So like at 8 o'clock, if there's 3 additional shows other than, say, I'm watching Raw, and there's 4 additional shows that I would want to see, then I can record them at that time frame, and that's what they get credit for. So like AEW on Wednesdays, if it's re-airing at 10 right after, then it's re-airing on TNT HD at 11 and then re-airing again at 1. There's like 4 hours right there that they're getting views.
Yep, that's exactly how they do it. If it's scheduled, unlike well, if there is something else on, that, like you said, the rain delay for the race or whatever, that doesn't count. So they're just putting something on to fill the time, because what are they going to talk about in 4 hours during a rain delay?
Right.
Yeah.
And racing. They're going to go around in the circle 500 times.
Shut up.
You can only hear the sports announcer saying, "Oh, they're going to dry the track." It takes 2 hours.
I know they're going to talk about how they're going to drive the track for 2 hours. I don't. Look, I used to watch racing. But I want to know how they get these numbers. They got something linked to my TV saying this is what I watch? Because I've been flipping back and forth. So every time I flip back, does that count as a view? See what I mean?
Yep.
That their numbers are skewed. All numbers are skewed. And that's the way TV viewers. So maybe only 500,000 people are watching, but they flip over 4 fucking times. That's 2 million viewers right there. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I wrestling
with the race now, they do the where they go to the trailers or they go to the motorcade or whatever, and they do the interviews and stuff. But yeah, I mean, when you're sitting there and it looks like it's clearing up, and they're showing the AccuWeather, and yeah, it looks like we got another cell coming through.
I mean, I can't sit through a rain delay when a baseball game happens. I can't sit there and listen to them talk, because then they start talking about just dumb shit because they run out of shit to talk about.
Right.
It's like, okay, show me something else, or show me. And what they do here is they show like games from yesteryear. Like they'll show the 1982 Brewers, playing a ALCS championship game. Stuff like that. They don't sit and we'll be back at this time to let you know, give you an update on whether or not the game is going to happen, and they go to other viewership because they don't want to lose their viewers, so they put something else on.
Right, and I've also noticed too they'll put a race from last year or the beginning of the season. They'll re-air to kind of keep, and they'll have it on previously recorded and stuff like that if they're not going to be doing the live interviews and stuff.
Right. So, by the way, that breathing, me. Deal with it.
Motherfucker!
Tomorrow's going to be a boring day for football, I think.
It was just college tomorrow, right?
Hey, not just college, goddammit. And the Badgers play at 11 tomorrow, so we're going to go up to Mom's.
Go Badgers!
Illinois. Well, Wisconsin should beat them 70-0, but it won't. So I have a question for everybody.
No.
No, it's not bad. Do you think that they are shoving Roman Reigns down our throats again?
For me, no. I think it's been more of a gradual letting him do his thing. I mean, I know he's on quite a bit, but I think it's more with him now. It's not like you're in this title picture and we're pushing you to this title and we're pushing you along the lines of every main event. He's been in tag teams, he's been in single matches. He hasn't been on every pay-per-view.
Well, everybody's only been on one show.
But at the beginning there, he was on both shows.
Well, that's because of that fucking wild curfew. I still think they're pushing him.
They're pushing him, but it's a more organic push.
I don't think it is an organic push.
He got over all on his own this time around, whereas before he needed the Shield.
Well, they keep feeding him and feeding him and feeding him.
But if you were to compare him to what he was a year ago before he left with the leukemia, I think it's a little bit more, like Heather said, it's more organic and it's more he's getting over more himself than being pushed down our throats and being forced.
Right.
I think he's doing it more on his own now and more on his own terms.
Yeah, I still think they're pushing him. They kind of have to. He's that guy. They've done it for so long. He's the reason why people are fucking watching.
That's why I'm watching.
I thought that was Adam Cole.
For me personally, I think Matt Riddle is the way to go. That's me.
No. I actually, when that match came on, I actually fast forwarded it. I didn't even want to see it.
Oh my
Which
god!
match?
Last night's match or Wednesday night?
Wednesday nights, I didn't even watch Matt Riddle.
You missed a good match.
Yep, I went right to Damian Priest.
He's going to be the one to beat Adam Cole. You know that, right?
No, I'm going to have a talk down there at Full Sail. Adam Cole cannot lose that belt.
I like Matt Riddle. I think his character is what they are looking for. I don't think he's really. We'll talk about it because I do want to ask you that question. I don't understand why you have so much hate for that man. I think it's. I'm not gonna say it's unwarranted. I understand he acts like a douchebag, but that's his character. Adam Cole, he's a douchebag in his own way. I love Adam Cole. I love Matt Riddle. I think Matt Riddle he acts like a douchebag, but when it's go time, the guy can wrestle. My match of the year was Adam Cole and Matt Riddle. That match I never pop or jump out of my chair for any matches. That match made me jump out of my chair.
Now, that match I did watch, but that's because Adam Cole was in it.
I understand that, but that is the best match that I think Adam Cole has had since he's been in WWE.
Well, and it's just like, I mean, with every show, there's a reason, like, even though they're crappy shows, I like AJ, so I know I'm going to see him on Raw. So I wait to see what they're going to do with him, even though they're not really doing anything with him. AEW, I watch it because Kenny Omega's on it. NXT, I watch because of Adam Cole. I like Shayna Baszler. Mm-hmm. So anything, and now I'm growing more with Rhea Ripley. I like where they're going with her on that. SmackDown, I'll watch because of Roman. But there's certain aspects with each show, and even with the NWA, I've just recently started watching that. New Japan. There's certain ones that I look forward to seeing, and it's a matter of, okay, I know this is coming on, and I know I may or may not see them, but then I'm starting to see new talent, or I see someone else that kind of catches my eye. And even with Impact, there's certain, like Brian Cage, Mike Elgin,
right.
Those are ones that I kind of want to see and see what they're going to do with them or see where they're going to go. Tessa
Right.
Blanchard, I like her.
I am not a fan of her. I don't. I think she's overhyped.
Well, and with her, I mean, I see her. She's on the Women of Wrestling. I see she's been in Lucha. She was on that AAA. She's on Impact. And she's one that they have with, especially with Impact, along with Scarlett Bordeaux. They kind of put her in those intergender matches, and I do see her when that contract is up going to AEW. I know she's not going to be going to WWE because she wants to wrestle the guys. And Scarlett Bordeaux was the same way at the beginning of the year with Impact. They were putting her in the intergender matches in Impact.
Right. Well,
So I was really surprised when she signed with WWE, knowing that she wasn't getting that.
Well, that's because she's probably, with the way her look, WWE's going to push her right. She's just like Lacey Evans. I'm not a fan of intergender wrestling because I cannot suspend my belief, and we've talked about this. I cannot suspend my disbelief for her when she wrestles guys like Sami Callihan. Her stature, she's not very big. She's only 125 pounds. She just looks like she's big enough. Like Jordan Grace, I could kind of believe her fighting somebody like Petey Williams. But even then, I couldn't suspend my disbelief for that because I know how good Petey Williams is. But Sami Callihan, that match with her and Sami Callihan, Tessa Blanchard, I couldn't get behind it just because of who Sami Callihan is. That's just me.
For those still watching the stream, they just announced it due to the World Series. SmackDown will be on FS1 next week.
We
Sarah put it in the chat.
Sarah put it in the chat.
already talked about this. Sorry, don't.
I just want.
You're good. You're good.
Woman.
I am not either, Ace. I hate it when people kick out of, and that's another problem that I have with wrestling today. It's probably one of the big problems that I have with NXT is Johnny Gargano kicks out of everybody's finisher at least once. I like Johnny Gargano, but he kicks out of everybody's finisher at least once. But anybody got anything else they'd like to add, or Trek?
Not a bad event tonight. I mean, it was, like we said, it's 2 hours long. It feels like it flows better because it doesn't have to stretch out that extra third hour.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it actually was not bad tonight. I mean, they're starting to push Roman a little more, but it does seem, like Heather said, it seems more organic. He was a tag team. He didn't win the Intercontinental title, which everybody's like, oh my God, they're gonna push him. They're gonna give him the title. It's like they're building up Shinsuke and also Corbin too, and we're gonna see where it goes. And they're actually gonna give Shinsuke, which looks like a lengthy title run, which is very rare nowadays in these in WWE or in any pro wrestling. So, and yes, I said pro wrestling. I don't care what it's sports entertainment, combat sports, what they call it. It's pro wrestling to me.
It's combat sports because wrestling is combat sport.
Yeah. It's right, okay, and even to add with that, when Roman comes out now, he's not booed, or you don't hear the groans.
No.
Like you heard before. You hear them more now with Seth. But it's just now it just seems like we said, it seems like people are behind him and it is more organic, and you're now being able to project your feeling, and it's not like pent up anger and hate because they're forcing it.
Right. No, I get the whole Roman thing. It's just a question that I have because I still see them kind of still pushing him kind of hard. They're doing it subtly, but they're still doing it.
Well, the only other guy on that roster would be Daniel Bryan. Because, I mean, he was in that babyface mode till they looked like they were kind of turning him.
Mm-hmm.
And that didn't seem to go very well with his animosity and hate and stuff like that. People want to see him as that babyface.
Right.
And my feeling with that is when they did this draft, and of course throwing Miz back onto SmackDown, because that poor man, he gets drafted every time they have one to the other show. My thinking is now with him going back to that babyface character for Daniel Bryan, that you're going to get heel Miz.
I don't know. I think they're not doing it. They could, but I don't know if I want to see that story. I really don't.
Well, like Jake said,
they missed their bank on that for me.
Right, but face Miz just doesn't seem to work. It's like Randy Orton.
Yes.
He's more of that heel type character. To try to flip him into that babyface character just doesn't seem to work.
Right.
And it doesn't seem to work with Miz, with him being a babyface. I mean, even when he does his Miz TV promos with the wrestlers out there, he's in that heel-like role with the questions he asks and how he edges them on and irks them.
Right.
Well, like JP said, I don't think we're gonna see Miz go full time back to the ring. I think he's gonna be a part timer in the ring. I think he's more happy doing his interview segments because then he can stay on with his family a little bit more. I mean, they just had their second kid, so I think this is also another way to keep him off TV as much as so he's not on TV, as much as he used to. He could do the interview segments, but when was the last time we saw him wrestle?
I think a couple of weeks ago. If I remember right. I don't remember. I really don't know.
Oh, I thought he was in one of those 6-man matches.
Yeah, he was. He's like a couple of weeks ago, I think. I get it. I get it. I just, The Miz, I don't know. He's a better heel than he is a babyface. Still waiting to see, again, Bayley, the jury's out. I just don't want her talking too much because she almost wore out her welcome for me tonight. I'm not gonna lie. She almost killed herself tonight. She finally did show that it seemed forced, but it did look angry. Showed the angry face. But we'll see. Don't forget next. I don't even know what is there any special matches that they announced for next week?
Hogan and
Hogan and Flair will be there. Okay, so that'll probably
finalizing their teams, basically.
Okay, and they'll probably bring on Doink Clown and Dink.
Well, it'll be the go-home show because Crown Jewel's the 31st, Halloween.
Yeah, I don't know why they're having a go-home show for a glorified house show. So dumb. For me, it's just a glorified house show. I know everybody says it's a pay-per-view, but it's a glorified house show. Monday.
Hogan. Go ahead, Jim.
No,
Hogan didn't make his announcement tonight. He was supposed to do that at the end of the show.
No, he made his announcement in the middle of the show.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
He had a pre-recorded video from his surf shop.
Yeah. Monday, Raw will be on. We'll be streaming that again. Tomorrow night, we'll be over on the Horny Goat. We'll be talking about the draft. We'll be talking about AEW. We'll talk about New Japan. We'll talk about Impact. Bound for Glory is this Sunday. We'll talk about that. And then, we'll be back again. And
Tuesday, we guys have one study.
Tuesday, we'll be back on this channel for Sideline Study, where we'll talk about this past week in football. And, we'll talk about Patrick Mahomes. And it's too bad he played last night. Otherwise, so he got hurt. But, so that being said, I want to thank everybody. Welcome back again, Ronnie. I know you took time
Yep.
away because you had to take care of some issues.
Yep, glad to be back.
So we'll be seeing her. Hopefully, she'll be over on the Horny Goat with us tomorrow night, so she can talk about her Impact stuff. So I can
Yep.
shoot that down. No, I'm just kidding. Look, I do want to say something real quick about. I do sound abrasive, but there's for me, and I said it last night. And if you paid attention, one of the people that is on the show with us occasionally, Dory. You guys are making a comment about the laughing. JP's gonna laugh at. Look, I'm mostly kidding when I do that. I just want everybody to know that. But a lot of the stuff, when I ask a question or I seem confused or say something, I'm trying to figure everything out. Why wrestling? My big question is, and I wish I could do this as a college thesis. And the thesis would be, what happened to wrestling? Where did wrestling go wrong? And that's ultimately what I'm always, that's kind of why I'm doing these shows. Where did wrestling go wrong? What's wrong with wrestling today? And it's not just WWE. It's all of it. It's all of it. There are some things that AEW does that I disagree with. That people another thing is, why is there such a double standard?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. So when I sit, sounds like I'm shitting on AEW a lot. That's because we shit on WWE for the same things that they do. Me personally, and everybody knows me. Everybody that knows me, I don't give a pass on shit. I don't care if it's show 1 or show 2. These guys have been wrestling in the wrestling business for how long? They said that they know how things are working. They watched wrestling. They've seen what it becomes. That's their slogan. They've seen wrestling. They've seen what it becomes, and this is why they're here, to make a difference. What difference are they making? That's my question. They need to answer it. They haven't yet. That's why I am the way I am, because they said this, so now they've got to get me to believe that that's what they're doing, and they haven't yet. So we'll see. It is only their 3rd show, going into their 4th show. It's one of those things. It's hard to. These are what new viewers are asked. These are the questions that new viewers ask all the time. Why am I invested in this show? Why should I sit and watch this show for 2 hours? A lot of people don't care about the wrestling. They care about the entertainment aspect of wrestling. The promos and the that's why WWE still has the viewers that they do today. They're more worried about the promos than they are the wrestling. That's what it is. It is what it is. Yeah. So I just wanted to throw that out there. A lot of the times I am kidding. I may seem abrasive, but I'm not. Wendy wants to say goodnight to everybody.
Night, night, Wendy.
Night.
Night, Wendy.
Say bye. We'll see you on Monday.
Tomorrow.
We'll see you
No,
Monday
tomorrow.
for Monday Night Raw, where hopefully I actually go to sleep. So you guys have a good night, and we'll talk to you Monday night on this channel. We'll see you tomorrow night over on the Horny Goat. Have a good night.
I was kidnapped. See, they're abusive.